128 meters tall, 579 meters in crest length. The Kariba Dam is one of the largest dams in the world. It's just so huge that the reservoirs formed as the Kariba Dam have 200 kilometers long in length and can store up to 185 billion cubic meters of water, making it the third largest artificial lake in the world. With a total cost of 77.61 million pounds sterling, the project was completed somewhere in 1959. The dam is located in the Kariba Gorge of the Zambezi River between Zambia and Zimbabwe. The river runs through 8 different countries, starting from the Angola, and the dam is situated halfway down. The constructions of the Kariba started in 1956, and the first phase got completed in 1959. However, the dam reached its first capacity only in the year 1963. The whole project was led by an Italian company, which was totally funded by the World Bank. The amount of the monetary support provided by the World Bank was the most extensive financial support of that time. Today, the dam is able to generate 1,830 megawatt of hydroelectricity, and that electricity is shared between the two countries, Zambia and Zimbabwe. But the question here is, why Kariba Dam? The Kariba Dam was required back then in 1950s because the power was a necessary thing for the development in the South Africa, which was brought up by colonialism, British colonialism. Since the Kariba River had the great potential of hydroelectricity or great potential of the power, the Kariba Dam project was initiated without the environmental or the societal assessment. Because why? Because the country believed that back then the amount of the advantage that the country could get by making hydroelectric dam would easily outweigh the societal or the environmental impact that it would cause. And that was true in that sense because soon after the project was completed, the electricity became 30% cheaper in the Zimbabwe. The tourism sector boosted heavily as people came to visit the dam from a long way. The fishing and water sports activities began in the lake, which obviously became a great advantage to the country's touristic economy. But then, besides all of these positive impacts, the dam had great, really great impacts on the society, on and also on the biodiversity rich Zambia and Zimbabwe. Now, let me talk a little bit about the impacts that the Kariba Dam had in the society that was living there or that had been living there for centuries, and the impacts in the ecology and the environment. With such a massive big project, when everybody was uploading the scale of the project, there were some communities who were unheard. The Botonga tribe living in the place for centuries were devoid of their ancestral land. The gigantic dam flooded their fertile alluvial land, their society and culture. Many of the temples and the shrines they were flooded. Botonga people have believed that their god lived Nami Nami, and their god named Nami Nami actually lived there, which was destroyed by the dam. And they also believe that the accidents that occurred during the constructions of the dam that killed more than 196 people was actually caused by the god because he was unsatisfied with whatever things was being carried out there. And alongside these Botonga people, they were forcefully relocated to some other places. Like there were more than 57,000 Botonga people they were living there, and they were relocated. Some of them relocated in the northern side, and some of them in the southern side, and this causes some kind of like a deep impacts in the society. But the concern here is, not only about the relocations but about their new home. Previously, they were living in the fertile, flooded land, but now they were relocated to a place which was very arid. And many of these people, many of these tribes even relocated themselves to the national park, where they suffered heavy loss from the wildlife conflict. Besides everything, the dam impacted the ecology of the Zambezi River severely. Such a big dam disrupted the river continuum. The migrating fishes could no longer travel back to their spawning ground. The sediment fining and the decompositions downstream changed the river morphology permanently. And the dam even resulted in increased seismic activities. 3 of the earthquakes were recorded back then. The flooding land destroyed the habitats for many animals, for which Operation Noah was initiated that was able to evacuate some 6,000 animals during the flooding season. But most importantly, The dam determined the fate of the downstream community. During the drought or during heavy rainfall, the amount of the water that flows downstream fluctuates. Especially during the drought, no water flows down the embankment because all of the water they will be absorbed in order to generate the water and making the downstream people livelihoods pathetic. In the year 2000 to 2001, a severe drought in the Zambezi resulted such a fate when downstream community faced water scarcity and they could no longer produce any food from their agriculture. And in recent decades, because of the climate change, the problems has exacerbated further. The rainfall has been extreme and that causes periodic flooding. In the year 2010, 6,000 people had to be evacuated just because of the heavy rainfall that was induced by the climate change. And there are some of the societal and environmental impact that I talked about. And this is just in terms of the Kariba Dam. The old word the dam started a long time ago. We called it the dam nation. It started everywhere. The damming formations of the damming, a lot of this is happening everywhere, and they have a severe impact. So the clean energy could be an option for the future. However, I don't know whether to consider the hydroelectricity as a clean energy, but if it could be carried out in a very scientific and very sustainable way, probably the hydroelectricity could be one of the great energy source for the future.